Hi everybody, welcome to Birds Explored. So we had a break and the break finished, so we came back. And yeah, today we are talking about kites. So my friend Peter Capagnolo is also here. Hey Peter,
Hi, Oku.
how are you?
We're back.
We are back, yes. So we had a break, but yeah, everything is gone. So everything is fine, not gone.
And now it's still here.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So we are talking about kites today. And I don't know, last time what did we talked about?
Was it Golden Eagle?
Yeah, the golden eagle.
Hmm.
Yes, that's true. So we are continuing with raptors. So today the kite day. So I have a just a second presentation.
Hmm.
Here we are. So the kites, all kinds of kites. So could you could you please start with kites, tell something about, and then I have a couple of different questions, but
Yeah.
you should start first this time.
Yeah, well, the kites are a really interesting group of raptors. Um, they are in a subfamily of the Accipitridae, and there's quite a bit of diversity among the various genera and species. And you can see here from left to right, I think it's maybe a white-winged kite, and in the middle is a hook-billed kite,
Right.
Mississippi kite, and a swallowtailed kite. Lots of variation, but in general, as far as the raptors go, kites are sort of smallish, lightweight birds, kind of gracile. Um, a little different in the skeletal structures with the other raptors, particularly the supraorbital process. You know, the bone that sticks out over the eye of a hawk makes it look kind of mean. Looks like it's fierce. The kites don't have that bone. Well, they have the bone, but it's not as prominent as it is in some of the other raptors. And various bill shapes, all kinds of interesting feeding adaptations, and these sorts of things.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for this introduction. So yeah, I have a question. What makes which I mean which characteristics makes them interesting? So because I saw on the pictures there are, well, in Turkey actually we don't have many different species, but here it's really nice diversity.
Yeah.
So, and then their bill shape looks like different. So which characteristic make them interesting? Can you tell something about this?
Yeah, well, again, in general, as raptorial birds, they have a decurved bill, pointed at the end and sharp. But then going on from that, there are some kites that have really modified bills in order to feed on specific prey types. But for instance, the kite on the right there, the swallow-tailed kite, it has sort of a regular hawk-like beak, but as I said before, they're kind of gracile, so they will feed on insects like dragonflies and things like that. Audubon's famous painting of the swallow-tailed kite is of a bird in flight, and it's got a snake in its talons. I think it's a garter snake or something. And often kites will feed on the wing. So, you know, swallowtail kite flying along with a snake in its talons just kind of bends down while it's flying and starts to eat the snake in midair. Um, but I think you have some photographs of some more highly modified kite bills.
Right. I'm gonna ask you this one, for example, which species?
Yeah, I believe this is a hook-billed kite,
Right. Look
and
at this bill. I mean, here.
yeah, yeah, you can see that it's acutely decurved, and I'm not quite sure what the particular prey is for the hook-billed kites, but there's another one called the snail kite. Used to be called the Everglade kite. um, that we could look at if you have a photo of that one.
Right. So the other one, other interesting one. What about this? I mean,
Yeah, well, this looks like a Mississippi kite, which is sort of a generalized kite.
right. Why North America has this kind of diversity? Then I mean,
Yeah, well,
there is a significant, substantial difference between Europe and North America.
yeah, I think over in Europe, you've got what, the red kites, and then the black kites maybe to the east more. Um, but yeah, North America has I think the bulk of the species. They're somewhat tropical birds, so the neotropics are good habitat for them. Find enough prey.
So that there any endemics for North America? For example, that's one, the Mississippi kites.
Um, you know, I'm not exactly sure, but I think the Mississippi kite is found only in North America, as is the snail kite or the Everglade kite that I keep referring to. Yeah.
Okay, great. So the I have the other picture of another species.
Hmm.
So this one. So
Yeah, that looks. I believe that's a white winged kite,
right,
or yeah,
that's true.
um, and that's a North American bird as well. Do we have a photo of the snail kite or no?
No, it's coming. I mean,
Oh,
just
okay.
it's coming.
I'm very excited about it.
I know it's easy to understand.
Yeah,
So
and you see this kite. It's a beautiful bird. It's like a very gracile, very sort of light, and of course they're called kites because they kind of hover up like a a kite that people use to fly on the beach.
Peter, do
Yeah.
you know is there any special reason for this kind of color variation between species in the same group? So they are kites and they have I believe they have the similar behavior as far as I read, but I didn't see, I mean, all of them in North America. Probably you are way better than me about this. So I'm just curious, is there any special reason about this coloration pattern?
Well, we could speculate about that. There are probably some people who are kite experts who could tell you more about it. But as with any coloration and size, is going to be dependent to some extent on environmental factors, um, selective processes in evolution, and so on.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm continuing with another one.
Yeah, that's the swallowtailed kite, which that's a great bird. I mean, bird watchers, and it's very easy to tell what that is in flight. And they're found in the southeastern U.S. They're abundant in Florida and uh, the Gulf Coast, places like that.
So when we think about I mean, raptor species, so well, diurnal raptor species,
Mm.
how many of them? I mean, what's the percentage? The kites has more species than any other group.
No, I don't think so. I think there are more buteos in the Accipitridae. I don't have off the top of my head the exact number of kite species. I think it's fewer than the buteos. It's certainly more than the accipiters.
Fewer than the buteos. Okay,
Yeah,
buteo species.
yeah.
So we have in Turkey the buteo. I mean, we have a couple of different species in Europe,
Hmm.
but also, well, in North America. So
We've got quite a
their
few.
common names also different than Europe.
Yeah, well, in Europe, you've got the common buzzard. um, in North America and into Central and South America, you've got the red-tailed hawk, the red-shouldered hawk, the broad-winged hawk, and a lot of smaller buteos
Right.
in Central and South America. And I may be misspeaking here, but I think there are more buteos than there are kites. I'm not exactly sure.
Say again, there are more buteos than
I
kites.
think I believe so. Yeah, I guess
Okay.
we could check it. I guess, but
Okay, is there any special behavior for them?
Well, the one that always comes to mind is the feeding behavior, the strategy of the snail kite.
Oh, the snail kite. What
Yeah.
what is it?
The snail kite, I thought we had a photo of it. Do we not?
No, we have. I mean, it's coming.
It's coming.
I just try to make this video a little funny.
Oh, okay. Well, it's hilarious. It's my favorite kite is the snail kite. Used to be called the Everglade kite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why is the change? I mean,
Well, the change. You mean what am I so excited about?
yeah.
This the beak.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the bill on the snail kite is just a marvel of natural selection and evolution. Just very, very acute curve, and in captivity, they can be fed different kinds of meat and food like that, different kinds of meat. But in the wild, they are specialists on a snail that you find in the Everglades and in swamps in the southwestern U.S. and parts of South America. And the bill, yeah, there it is. Look at the bill on that. Um, and
Yeah, it's
yeah, there's great video of the snail kite extracting the snail from its shell. They use that curved bill to get right down into the shell, and they sever the muscle that holds the snail in the shell, and then the empty shell drops away, and the kite swallows the snail.
so yeah, this is snail kite. So
Yeah,
we have, I mean, in Europe, Pernis apivorus.
yeah,
I
that's
think
a
the
that's a honey buzzard.
honey buzzard. No, no, no. Circateus gallicus.
Right, right.
So
Circus.
this is the um like a this the eagle.
Uh, Circus.
Circateus gallicus.
Um,
Mm,
no, I think I think circus. I think is a harrier, isn't it?
Snail kite. Well, not snail kite. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, it's kind of in the Turkish, in common name in Turkish, yılan kartalı means like a snail eagle
Hmm.
something, but it's not the what's the common name? I mean, I'm gonna check.
Yeah, I see. I think I know what's going on. Is a common name uh, issue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the
circus
common name.
probably feeds on snails to some extent, but I'm certain that it's not. It doesn't have
Short
it.
short-toed snake eagle.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Short toed snake eagle. It's specialist on snakes.
Yeah, specials on
Yeah,
snakes,
right, right.
and this is definitely different than this.
Yeah, this is Rosthramus, I believe, is the genus.
Right, completely different.
Yeah,
So the kites, phylogenetically, so
they're hawks.
close to they are close to hawks.
Yeah, yeah. There's a large phylogenies have been done, and kites used to be sort of considered, uh, sister taxa, but way out there, far away from the hawks. Their own special family was Elanidae, I believe. But now they're in the Accipitridae with all these other hawks, including eagles, um, and a subfamily Elaninae. I believe that's the case now. So the genetic work has shown that they're much, much more closely related to the other hawks than they are to some kind of outside group or different group.
So in North America, how many of them migrate?
Well, I know that the Mississippi kite moves around a little bit. I don't know if you'd call it actually migration. All these birds breed in the southern latitudes. There are no kites that breed in the mid-Atlantic states or in the north. They're all sort of tropical,
So
subtropical birds.
there are no resident sedentary kite species in North America.
Uh, as far as I'm aware, there aren't, but there's certain, there's not big migrations, that's for sure. But Mississippi kites wind up in the Northeast sometimes. It's very exciting for birders to see them sometimes.
Okay.
They get caught on the wind or the Gulf Stream or something like that. and they show up. But if you want to see kites consistently, you move into the southern states, southeast, the Gulf Coast. Out west, there are some in southwestern part of the continent,
Okay.
California, places like that.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I think, well, you have any interesting story about them
Well, I do.
that you want to tell? I mean, I had a couple of these questions, but I think I'm finishing the questions.
Mhm.
So what
Well,
do you?
I have a little story.
Right.
So the swallowtail kite, the one that we saw before with the forked tail and the black and white bird, that one there, that bird, builds nests and breeds in southern part of North America. It's tropical, but in an old ornithology book that was published, I believe, by the New York State Museum, um, there is a record of swallowtail kite breeding in upstate New York. It's like 1916, 1920, something like that. And somebody made an observation, said that he saw these birds. And in fact, there's a specimen. He said that he collected the bird and it's mounted and it's in the New York State Museum collection. And he said that he had seen it with other birds and that the nest was there. Now, that would be very unusual. Um, so you got to wonder sort of where that record really comes from. It turns out that the man who collected the bird and brought in the specimen also was familiar with them in Florida, which means he had been to Florida and lived in Florida for some amount of time. So you can't rule out the possibility. He's no longer around. He can't defend himself, but you can't rule out the possibility that he collected a bird in the South and then claimed it was from up north. These are all interesting kinds of ornithological mysteries. It's also possible that, there was a nest of swallowtail kites in upstate New York. I mean, it would be very unusual, but there is that record.
Wow, that's great. I mean, interesting story.
Yeah.
So okay, which group we are gonna pick up for next episode?
Um, well, we want to do owls, and with the owl episode, we want to have a special interview with somebody, a guest. Um, and we want to do the woodpeckers, and we're going to talk about the ivory-billed woodpecker with a special guest. So those are two that are coming up at some point that should be kind of exciting. Maybe we'll do a couple of other ones beforehand. Maybe we'll do pigeons next, maybe, and talk about the dodo bird.
Right. Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we certainly come back, and then every week we try to upload a new episode. So after a long break, so it's the first one, kites came. So I think an interesting bird group. I learned a lot when I look at the pictures and try to make this presentation available for this talk.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'd urge viewers to check other sources about kites. I mean, I'm not a kite expert, and maybe
You
some
know
of those.
raptors. I mean, you are kind of raptor expert.
Yeah, but I'm getting old, so
No,
so I'm forgetting.
no,
But I
that's not true.
welcome people to check, and if there was something that wasn't quite right or something interesting, I think people are welcome to let us know. That would be
And
good.
Peter, could you please? Well, I said you are the kind of raptor expert because of your book. So, I mean, maybe it is better to say something about this book right now. I mean, could you please just introduce your book briefly,
Sure,
and then at the end
I
of
think
this
we
episode?
yeah, I think we did that in one of the earlier episodes, but people are welcome to go to Amazon and look for my book, which was published in 2010. It's co-authored with Carol Butler.
Right.
It's called "How Fast Can a Falcon Dive? Fascinating Answers to Questions About Birds of Prey." It's published by Rutgers University Press. And there's certainly questions in there about kites. I know there were photos of snail kites, my favorite. Um, and it's a good source. It's a question answer format, and it's a good source of initial information. Hopefully, spurs people on to look more deeply into the biology and ecology of the birds of prey, the raptors.
Right. So okay. So today, I mean, we finished this episode, the kites stuff. So it is interesting for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Always good.
Always good. Yeah. So and people, as far as I know, people waiting the new episode. I think they are going to be happy about this. And as I said, we are back, and then we are continue the new episode. So please follow us on YouTube, and then wait until next week. So thank you very much for everybody, and we will meet again sometime soon. Okay, Peter. Bye
All
bye.
right.
See you
So
later
long.
on.
Bye
Bye.
bye.